Welcome to the New York Immigration Coalition's 2020 Virtual Gala. I'm your host, Carrie Cottet. This is a critically important time for us to come together to work for change. These past couple of months, especially this past week, has given rise to so many feelings. I've been struggling to articulate how exactly I feel until my friend asked me yesterday, and I figured out the precise way to describe it, which is to say that I am constantly teetering between being exhausted and, oh, I got time today. So, yeah, with all of these other emotions, another one is gratitude. We are so grateful for all of you for tuning in tonight. NYIC's members, activists, recipients, supporters, donors, volunteers, and elected officials. Thanks to the host committee that inspired hundreds of you to join us tonight, and the sponsors who made it possible, including top sponsor MasterCard. We are grateful for you for being a part of the NYIC community and a part of this evening. Every day at 7 p.m., this is what we do. We know that we bang on some pots and pans to support our essential workers and our activists. And as an immigrant, I don't just have a regular pot and pan. I have a cowbell. In my culture, this is called an iron. And can we all just bang on the pot together for our essential workers and our activists? I write words for a living, and the past 3 weeks has rendered me speechless, okay? And that is very hard to do. I generally have a lot to say about a lot of things. And the one thing I noticed from the civil unrest and this global pandemic is that we have simply had enough. We've had enough. We cannot continue to do things the way that we've been doing it. The systems are not working. This is time for us to reevaluate all of the things that we thought were serving us and serving our community. These are the times for us to reevaluate the things that the people who make the laws and the decision makers think are serving their community. Because I feel like we've been telling y'all it's not working for a very long time. And the corona came and we all saw everything crumble down. And the way I look at it is you have to build things down, break things down in order to build them up, to rebuild and to come back stronger. So despite all the craziness and the chaos, the madness and the mayhem, despite the unemployment rate, despite the civil unrest, I am inspired. I'm motivated. I am feeling more hopeful than I've ever felt before. For so long, the Black community, the immigrant community, brown people, for so long, we have been told that we're making it up, that things aren't that bad. And for the first time in my lifetime, I ain't gonna tell you how old I am, man, it's your business, okay? But for the first time in my lifetime, I am seeing globally people coming together on one accord to say enough is enough. We cannot go on this way. Inequality, systemic injustice, racism, discrimination, we can't do this anymore. And this is why the work that you guys are doing and the NYIC community is doing is so important, because these are the changes that need to be done, and it does start with us. I am a first-generation American. My family is from Trinidad and Tobago. My grandmother came to this country. She worked as a maid, and she worked harder than anyone I knew. And with her money that she made from being a maid and from collecting bottles on the side, and I mean picking up trash to redeem them and give them in. This is a woman who came here and saw that people in America were throwing money away in the street and was like, y'all are crazy, this can't happen, and was able to use that money to take her grandchildren on trips to Disney World and to museums and to start bank accounts for all of us and to put towards our college fund. And that is why I still have hope in America, because this is a world in a country where anything is possible. Yo, we got a reality TV show star for president. Literally anything is possible in America. So I choose to look at all the great and wonderful possibilities. The America that is built from immigrants, off of our sweat, our blood, our hard work. And I know that there is better for us and for our kids and for our kids' kids. And I feel hopeful. I feel hopeful for the first time in a very long time. If you're here, it also means that you believe that change is possible. So thank you for being here. I'm so grateful and honored to be your host, and we have a lovely show and gala for you tonight. So without further ado, let's get this show started.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mark Libatique. I am the membership manager at NYIC, and I come to you with a song. I can't wait to leave this house, but I'm gonna wait till it's safe. Meanwhile, I'll get TikTok famous, watch Netflix, then sleep late. But for those who don't have that option, New Yorkers near and far, I'd like to take this moment and shout out who you are. You're my nurse, my doctor, my mail guy, my package delivery friends. You're the food service worker who's taken orders from the day's beginning to end. Whether born and raised or immigrated, it's a picture-perfect blend. No storm or virus can ever divide us. We're New York united as one.
What connects me to the immigrant community is just my family.
Undoubtedly, my favorite immigrant in this whole world is going to be my mother.
So as a daughter of immigrant parents, my story has been really about getting to know my parents and discovering my ethnic and cultural heritage.
I come from immigrants. I come from people who moved here for a better opportunity.
There was nothing more important for me to do with my future than to make sure that people like my mother sort of had access to the options that she didn't have.
And really to fight for folks like my parents when they first got here and didn't have very many services or supports.
I was born in the Bronx and raised in Queens, but my parents are both from Ecuador. So I am a product of immigrants, and I never forget that.
I grew up undocumented for about 13 years when I moved here from Colombia. I grew up as a dreamer, like many of the people that I represent today.
My connection to New York with immigrants is my connection to New York with 8.5 million other New Yorkers. It's what makes New York great.
When I stand by immigrants in this moment, I am standing by my parents.
Not only do I stand with immigrants, but I stand with marginalized communities, especially communities of color and low-wage workers. I think we all should.
It's kind of cliche to say, but I don't think this country would be what it is without immigrants.
It's been immigrants who built this country. I myself am an immigrant. It is the soul of our nation.
I grew up in the city, and the only New York I know is a New York that is built on the tenacity and resilience of immigrant New Yorkers.
And if we want a city that's going to be a good, thriving city, we have to think about our immigrants and act upon the needs that they have and the promise that they have to bring us into this next future and this next chapter of the city of New York.
The reason why I find it so important to stand with immigrants today is because I have a platform. It's my duty to put immigrant issues, immigrant rights at the forefront of the work that I'm doing.
It's inhumane to call people illegal.
And we need to rescue who we are as a nation, and always, always, always need to honor the immigrant story of the United States.
I stand with immigrants in this moment, and I frankly stand with them in any moment.
I stand with immigrants in this moment, and I think everyone should be standing with immigrants in this moment.
New York Immigration Coalition is very, very important to me because as a coalition, we're the voice of the voiceless.
When there are organizations like the New York Immigration Coalition that work to both amplify those voices and protect those voices, that's important to me, and it should be important to so many New Yorkers, because immigrants are the lifeblood of not just this city, but this nation.
New York Immigration Coalition does not take anything except for justice.
I think that there's a true sense of solidarity between the staff members that I didn't even think was sort of possible in a workplace.
I'm so proud to work for an organization that does this for the immigrant community day in and day out.
I was very happy to be able to contribute with an artwork to the fundraising efforts that the New York Immigrant Coalition is doing.
Coalition work is very, very important. It's very hard to do, but I think it's crucial to the empowerment of our communities in New York State.
The NYIC is so important to me is because they have created a platform and also a voice for a community that doesn't feel like they have a voice, that they don't feel like they have representation.
The NYC really offers space for immigrant issues to be heard in government and to build long-lasting power to have a say in what makes New York, New York.
For me, the New York Immigration Coalition is often the force behind a lot of the work that I get to do. It has been the honor of a lifetime, not only to support your work, but to learn from you, to fight for you. And I'm going to continue to do it as long as you will have me.
And we're going to continue to fight, and we're going to continue to win, because the strength of our community is what powers us through. We have to do all that we can to ensure that not just here in New York City or New York State, but across the nation, that this government, that law enforcement, and that everyone in between sees that and values Black lives, because Black lives matter.
United by the common thread that believes in the inherent dignity and worth of every person, whether they've lived in this country their entire life, or whether they've crossed a desert seeking safety in our arms. I am proud to be a member of an organization that says loudly and consistently every day, no justice, no peace.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
Bye.
Good luck and great work. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Thanks.
Peace.
Wasn't that awesome? Like, what a chorus of talent and a vision for change. I'm about to put them on my vision board. #goals. Next up, we have a very special guest, a comedian that I know and love. Put your hands together for Aparna Nancherla.
Hi, my name is Aparna Nancherla, and I'm a comedian based in Brooklyn, New York, and I wanted to share a story about one of my favorite immigrants, without whom I literally would not even be here, and that is my dad. My dad came over to the US in 1974 from Hyderabad, India. He had just finished med school there, and he was coming here for his medical internship, because this was a time when there was a need for medical professionals here, so he came because of that. Now, he came by himself and he didn't know anyone, and in addition to that, one of the hardest things he had trouble adjusting to was the food, because he didn't know how to cook. He didn't know anyone who could cook for him or help him learn, so he was just kind of left to fend for himself. And he basically just ate potato chips and Coke for like a month straight when he first came here, which is, you know, on reflection, a pretty American diet, so I would say he assimilated very well. But one day he went to a pizza restaurant by himself, and he had never been to one before, so he sits down to order, and he's like, well, a small seems too small. I'm pretty hungry. I'll get a medium. And so the waiter brings him a medium pizza, and he's like, this is huge. Like, there's no way I ordered this. Even though, you know, to be honest, a medium pizza, like, this is a country where we invented a show called Man vs. Food. Like, I'm sure a medium one person would have no trouble with, but at the time it was like way beyond my dad's perception of what was appropriate for a one-person meal. And he was like, this must be a mistake, so he just gets up and goes and sits at another table, because he's like, obviously this is a misunderstanding. The waiter gets confused, and he's like, why did my customer go sit at another table when I brought him his food? So he takes the medium pizza and he goes and moves it to where my dad went and relocated himself, and it basically just turned into this fun little game of cat and mouse featuring a medium pizza. And that's my story. I just wanted to thank the New York Immigration Coalition for the important work it's doing with the New York United campaign to support one of the city's most valuable and vulnerable groups right now, especially frontline workers. I know the pandemic has separated us in a lot of ways, and we aren't seeing each other as much, but it's nice to know we're still all in this together. Thanks. Bye.
Tonight, NYIC is recognizing NYSNA, the New York State Nurses Association, as its Member of the Year. Round of applause. NYSNA is a union of over 42,000 healthcare professionals. They're always working courageously, tirelessly, and bravely at the front lines of this pandemic to help us regain and sustain our health. Where would we be without y'all? And even when they aren't confronting COVID, they're doing amazing work in hospitals, doctors' offices, and healthcare centers every single day. We depend on them, we need them, and that's why they are our essential workers. NYSNA is also a powerhouse workers organization and a critical ally in NYIC's campaigns. Their members come out in droves to support our actions and advocacy, and without them, we would not be where we are today. So, without further ado, let's introduce one of our guests who has worked for over 30 years as an emergency room nurse and is also the board chair of NYSNA. Make some noise for Judy Sheridan Gonzalez. I know y'all in your house, but y'all can still clap.
As essential workers, the nurses, particularly in the metropolitan area and the hardest hit areas, are dealing with the challenges that go along with working every day in this unknown environment in which you're much more susceptible to getting sick with COVID. In my hospital, which is in a community in the Bronx, which is one of the most hardest hit communities in the world, I think, per capita, many of our employees have been stricken with COVID and been out, many thousands, in fact. And in fact, sadly, some of our members, I think at this point, well over 40, perhaps 50, have died. So whatever could have gone wrong did go wrong. And the victims, unfortunately, were our communities, particularly our communities of color, our immigrant communities, our impoverished communities, and the caregivers in these communities. Many of the nurses who work in our hospitals in New York City were born in other countries, are immigrants, or are first generation. The nurses who come from other countries also bring an incredible richness of experience and cultural norms that existed in other countries that have diversified the workforce in very positive ways, in particular in caring for patients who come from the same communities, whether it's from Asia, from Africa, from Latin America, from Europe, from the Caribbean. This is a real benefit to the nursing profession. The diversification of the workforce has really enriched the lives of other nurses, other healthcare workers, and our patients. You know, we nurses see all patients as human beings. We don't look at, income, race, ethnicity, status, and certainly not whether you're what you have papers, you don't have papers. We care for all patients. We could never deny care to people based on any of these status questions. And the New York Immigration Coalition feels very strongly about that too. So on behalf of the 42,000 nurses of the New York State Nurses Association, we are so honored and humbled by the recognition of nursing and nurses by the New York Immigration Coalition. And we hope to continue as partners with our community to be able to do what we do, which is care for patients and support the very important fact that all patients are human beings first and foremost, and that no human being is illegal.
Our next guest joined the organization in 2013 and has led a period of unprecedented growth, doubling the staff and increasing the membership of the organization, as well as increasing its influence around New York City, the state, and around the whole country, okay? So if you don't know, now you know. Leading NYIC with vision, fierceness, and heart, please put your hands together for our Executive Director, Stephen Choi.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so sorry that we cannot come together in person this year, but I am so glad that we can gather today to share our collective strength and the challenges we face at this heartbreaking moment. And I'm grateful to share the hope that I'm feeling as I see the way that New Yorkers are coming together to support each other. This has been an incredibly difficult and heartbreaking time in our country. Almost overnight, the COVID pandemic has thrown us into what feels like an alternate dystopian universe. Immigrants were already under attack by the Trump administration and his cronies like Stephen Miller. But when the coronavirus hit, it hit immigrant communities the hardest. Immigrant New Yorkers have been fighting on the front lines of the pandemic, as essential workers delivering meals, cleaning up infected facilities, and saving people's lives in hospitals. And yet the damage done to our communities has been vast. Not only have hundreds of thousands of immigrants lost their jobs, but thousands of immigrants have lost their lives. I pay my respects and honor their memory, as heartbreaking as it has been. And to add to that, the death of George Floyd and countless others before him have made clear that fighting for Black communities is just not optional. The racism and discrimination that has infected our institutions is even more virulent, condemning millions in Black communities to despair and death. I think of all the lives that have been lost, the cries that have been silenced, the hearts that have been broken. But in the middle of this hurt, I also feel hope. The pandemic has taught us just how connected we are, that we need to protect everyone in our communities to truly be healthy. And fighting for Black communities is no different. If we are to heal our hurt and to overcome this heartbreak, we need to come together in a spirit of unity, in a spirit of hope. And seeing how so many of you all, New Yorkers of every color and creed and class, have joined our New York United campaign, that's something that gives me hope. Through our New York United campaign, we fought to try to provide relief to the 1.3 million New Yorkers excluded from relief. And thanks to our work, the state is providing free COVID-19 testing, evaluation, and treatment for all low-income people in New York, including undocumented immigrants. And through this campaign, we've supported our member organizations working in every corner of the state. And thanks to our work, more than a dozen of our members have applied to get millions of dollars in federal resources so they can stay afloat at this very critical moment. And for the 1.3 million New Yorkers who've been shamefully left out in the cold by our federal government, we're distributing $2.7 million of emergency cash assistance to over 5,000 families for food and groceries and rent. And that, my friends, is how New Yorkers have been united in a spirit of hope. And now I'm so excited for you all to hear from Maribel Torres, one of the beneficiaries of our emergency cash assistance efforts, and from Yesenia Mata, a vibrant young leader of La Colmena, an NYIC member organization in Staten Island that is providing direct support to immigrant workers at this critical time. I hope that you find their vision, their leadership, and their love for New York as inspiring as I do, because they represent the hope of all of us New Yorkers for a freer and fairer future. Thank you.
My name is Yesenia Mata, and I am the Executive Director of La Colmena.
Hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Maribel Torres, soy miembro de La Colmena y formo parte del grupo Mujeres Liderando. El día en que se cerró la ciudad, estaba trabajando como trabajadora doméstica. Durante esa semana me pidieron que limpiara profundamente ciertas casas. Mientras limpiaba en profundidad algunas de esas casas, me preocupaba mucho enfermarme, no solo por COVID-19, sino también por los químicos que estaba usando para limpiar a fondo. Las mujeres inmigrantes que somos trabajadoras domésticas, estamos siendo utilizadas para hacer este tipo de trabajo y seguimos siendo excluidas e ignoradas por esta administración y el gobernador. Cuando la ciudad se abra nuevamente, ¿a quién crees que se le pedirá que continúe haciendo la limpieza profunda? A mí, a nosotras las trabajadoras domésticas inmigrantes, y me preocupa mi vida. Como madre, como esposa, como trabajadora esencial, le doy gracias a la Coalición de Nueva York por el apoyo financiero que me ayudó económicamente y me ayudó de poder quedarme en casa y apoyar al grupo Mujeres Liderando. Soy un líder de la comunidad y mi misión es empoderar a otras mujeres inmigrantes a través de Mujeres Liderando. En este momento estamos haciendo máscaras para vender, pero también donamos una porción a las enfermeras, policías y conductores de autobuses. A través de esto he podido apoyar a muchas otras madres inmigrantes como yo. Queremos mostrarle a este país que nos importa esta crisis y que no debemos ser olvidadas.
Y Maribel, una de las cosas, ¿en qué modo lo usó y en qué modo le pudo ayudar a usted?
Oh, bastante, muchísimo. De hecho, ese dinero, pues tuvimos que utilizarlo porque, imagínense, teníamos 2 meses sin trabajar. 2 meses sin trabajar y estábamos viviendo con lo poco de ahorros que teníamos. Entonces, cuando llega ese dinero, tuvimos que ocuparlo de algún modo pagando los recibos de luz, gas, que eso nos ayudó muchísimo, y de algún modo con cierta parte también de la comida, preparándonos, porque todavía no tenemos para cuándo regresar a trabajar regularmente. Entonces, sí nos ayudó muchísimo el dinero.
Through this fund, it really also brought us a lot of happiness because we knew we were going to be helping out our community, and it also relieved a lot of stress from our end. So thank you.
Thank you, Maribel and Yesenia. You inspire those around you and give back at every turn. Speaking of inspiring, our next speaker is the force behind NYIC's communications and fundraising efforts. A true changemaker in her personal and professional endeavors, please welcome Rovika Rajkishan.
Hi everyone, I'm Rovika Rajkishan from the NYIC, coming live to you with Frida. Thank you, Yesenia and Maribel, you're absolutely heroes. Since the murder of George Floyd, the NYIC has suspended its state campaigns and realigned our city platform to fight for police accountability. We adopted the platform created by Communities United for Police Reform. The NYIC redirected its staff and resources to uplift and support repealing 50A and the Safer New York Act bills. And we also support defunding the NYPD by $1 billion, which would be redirected to youth and community services. We're proud to announce right now breaking news that Repeal 50A has passed, as well as the Safer New York Act bills. I'm really grateful to be part of this movement right now to build a future where we can all be free from oppressive systems. I hope as you watch tonight that you feel part of this very powerful movement. Your support means so much to the NYC and immigrant communities right now. So now that Frida's exited and I'm back, I'm sure you know what's coming next. Frida didn't want to do the ask with me, so I'm going to ask you to join by donating right now to our New York United campaign. I know that these days a lot of people are giving to help their neighbors with food and medical care, and many are stretched financially. But if you can, please make a gift of any size to the NYC. No amount is too small. It's really easy, and I'm going to show you how to participate. Please take out your phone and text your pledge to the number you see on the screen. It's 646-679-6942. 646-679-6942. Type your name, a short message, and the amount of your gift. Then press send, and your message and gift will appear on the screen. If you prefer, you can even give anonymously. Now, while you're getting your phones out, let me tell you what a gift to NYIC can do. Your gift to our New York United Fund supports our member organizations, our advocacy, and emergency cash relief to thousands of New Yorkers who've lost their jobs due to COVID and have been left out of every stimulus package. We've already given out $2.7 million to over 5,000 New Yorkers. Our advocacy is laser focused on action and real change now. Dismantling systems of oppression and the fight for justice for communities in New York and across the country. Okay, I'm ready to see who's texted their pledge, who's been inspired by me and Frida, who's here for a brief second. Oh, here we go, here's some more. Wow, thank you, a $5,000 gift from huge fans of NYC. Guillermo, thank you, we love you. Congrats to NYC. Thank you, Kim. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Paul. Thank you. Thank you for all of these kind words. Keep those going. See a pledge from Mary, a pledge from Gwen. Oh, Maniok, thank you so much. Thank you from Sunset Park. Sunset Park is in the house tonight. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for your $50 donation for all the work that we're doing. Wow, these keep coming in. Thank you so much, Susan. Heather, thank you so much for your pledge. Janine, wow, these are amazing. These just keep coming in. Thank you so much. And again, this really supports our New York United Fund, helping immigrants who have lost their jobs because of COVID and don't have any other forms of relief, helping our advocacy work, helping our nonprofit memberships so that they can stay in business also. Oh, thanks, Ping. That's really amazing. Thank you. Gail, thank you. Oh my God, Gail, thank you so much. That's an amazing gift. Thank you. Elizabeth, thank you so much. Doug and your team, thank you. This is amazing. Keep those pledges coming. Thanks, Jessica. You can also send us checks. Our address is 131 West 33rd Street. You can also go to our website at nyic.org, but please keep those numbers coming. This is really amazing. We're so grateful. Thank you, Mamta. Wow, keep those coming. I might be up here for a while, I've been told. Wow, thank you. We just got another big pledge. Thank you. This means so much to us. This means so much to the work that we do every day during this pandemic and just day in and day out. And we're really grateful. And you all get to see me try to be a mom and be a fundraiser too at the same time. So thank you for putting up with that also. Here's another gift from Razmia. Thank you. And we do accept anonymous gifts as you see those are coming through. We love big donations, small donations. Every bit really helps. Oh, thanks, Alana. And we're gonna keep Text to Pledge open all night. And you know, you can always make a donation to the NYIC also at nyic.org. But if you feel so compelled throughout the night to give, please continue to give these donations. It really, really helps our work. And we're so happy to stand with our New York and our immigrant communities and for everyone at this moment who are going through so much hardship. As you saw before, we've already given out $2.7 million to over 5,000 immigrants who've lost their jobs to COVID. And that is all money that we've raised and put out the door. And we're so grateful to be able to do that at this moment, this very, very difficult moment. Thank you, Fatima, David, Michael, and Jimena. Thank you so much. Again, keep those pledges coming all night. Nia, thank you. Thank you again. Please keep those pledges going. This is really amazing. Thank you all. This has been so inspiring, and we're so grateful for your support. Again, Text to Pledge is open all night, so please participate as you're able. Now back to Carrie.
What a night tonight was. Like, I don't even know where I would have been if I wasn't here with y'all, but I'm so happy that I'm here doing this with you guys tonight. This was just incredible. Your support has been overwhelming. This has really made my day. And again, I'm just inspired by the commitments that you guys have made to be here tonight. This is awesome. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking action. And in the words of Steve Choi, who you met earlier, remember? He's awesome. He says that, quote, "It's important to recognize that our liberation is tied to one another. None of us can be free until all of us can be free." I know that's right. So this applies to the pandemic as well as the civil unrest. Until all of us are free, nobody's free. So we need to rely on each other to help us get through, because that's what community is all about. NYIC will continue to fight for justice for Black and immigrant communities across New York State and the country. NYIC will continue their campaigns to ensure that immigrant communities do not bear the brunt of COVID-19. Thanks again. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for your support. Thanks for being here with us. Thanks to our essential workers, all of our supporters. Thanks again to the host community. Thanks to our sponsor. Thank you to everybody. Just so grateful. My name is Carrie Cottet. Have a great night. Stay safe and stay inside.